Okay, I think that says we're live. Yeah, it does. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for attending our construction-based webinar this afternoon, or this afternoon for me, or the morning for you guys if you're in the US, I guess. So my name is Richard Greenane, and I'm a co-founder of a purchasing software called procurementexpress.com. We're one of the world's top spend management companies. I'm joined today by my colleague, Mano Watson. Mano will be helping out by collecting questions for me to answer at the end. So he'll be looking at the chat window. Hi, Mano. Tell us how that works.
Hi everyone, so you guys can see at the bottom of the video or the start of the video there will be a live chat. So if you have any questions while watching this webinar, then just pop in your question over there and then Richard will answer at the end of the webinar.
Okay, great. So I'll fire away. We're going to make this webinar relatively short, I suppose. It's going to be about 15 minutes, and then we're going to give plenty of time for questions at the end. So get your questions ready. So let's make a start. So I've spent countless hours talking to construction industry companies about spend management and purchase control. We speak to construction companies all of the time, and it's one of our kind of niche markets that we work very well in. So today I'm going to identify 3 headaches in the construction industry and show you how a procurement or purchasing system can make your life in construction a lot easier. Firstly, though, a little bit of housekeeping. I'm really sorry. I'm a very quick talker, and I do have an English accent. And sometimes for some people, that's a bit of a problem. But if it is, then just make lots of notes and we can share the video at the end for you to watch again. If you want us to share the video with you, just say yes, please, in the comment section there. And we'll make sure that Mano gets that video sent over to you and make sure you have it. So at the end of this webinar, I'm going to share my personal email address with you all. This is because if you have problems in spend control problems, particularly that you don't want to share in an open forum, then reach out to me and I'll give you a hand where I can. So I'll help you if I can do. If that means that you want us to sign NDAs because you don't want to give this information out to everybody, then feel free we can do that too. So as I said, today we're going to identify 3 headaches and show you how we can solve them. The first of these headaches, I'll just change the slide there, is about collecting information and cost allocation. So any building site is a really busy place. There are lots and lots of things going on. A lot of construction companies still use paper-based purchasing books. I'm sure you've seen them all before. You've probably got 1,000 of them that you printed in 2015 and you're working your way through them right now, right? That's quite common. So they seem to work okay, those books. Most people fill them out most of the time. Sometimes people phone their orders into a supplier and then leave a page in the book blank and just write the supplier's name at the top. So they don't always get filled out properly. What happens if you decide that you want to collect some more information about company spending, like a job number or the payment method used? So do you get those books reprinted again? Well, of course you don't. That would be far too expensive. A purchasing system should allow you to create the fields that you need at any time. So you can create custom fields to collect more information that allows you to tailor a purchasing product to your specific business. So when a purchase gets made, that extra information is allocated to the right place, and all the information needed to put into one record, or is put into one record, the purchase order itself. So the value of each item can also be allocated to the right project, and over time you build up a real-time picture of exactly how much you're spending on that particular project. So the purchase order and the spend allocation is done by the person who created the request, and that way the allocation just gets done without you needing to do it. So you no longer will you have to fill out take the purchase order book or take the collection of purchase order books, generate a spreadsheet from that, read them, generate a spreadsheet, allocate them or into an account system, and allocate them afterwards. You don't have to do that. It's all done for you by the person who created the purchase order in the first place. So that is taking those purchase order books, translating them into some kind of report and spreadsheet or account into the account system is hours and hours and hours of work for someone. And that person could be much, much better renegotiating prices with your suppliers. Save you a ton of money renegotiating prices instead of having to just basically a data entry task, which probably isn't using their skills to the best. So that's headache number 1. Make sure that you're collecting the right data and allocating the right data And everybody within the company is able to do that at the point that that purchase or that request is being made. And that way you have all that data available to you whenever you need it. Whenever you want to look at a report of how much you spent on a particular supplier, that information is there. Whenever you want to look at how much you've spent on a particular project so far, that information is there. It should be all there in real time for you because you've been collating it and collecting it at the time, instead of having to get somebody to fill out or create a spreadsheet from a whole stack of purchase order books. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Gaining control of your teams. So you start to order materials for your project, and those items start arriving on site. Or you send Jimmy out in the truck or the van to pick up stuff from a supplier. By that time, everyone has been waiting for the materials to arrive, and then as soon as the materials do arrive, the truck gets offloaded really, really quickly. The materials are taken onto the site somewhere because somebody's been waiting for them, or they get lost into a sea of other items in your stores. So everything then happens far too quickly, and none of the deliveries are signed off correctly in general. And then what happens to the delivery docket? Well, I've done a little bit of research here in terms of delivery dockets and what happens to them, and I've spoken to quite a large number of construction companies over the years, and I've nearly always come across 5 possible answers. So, first answer: what happens to the delivery docket? So it gets put neatly into a tray in the office and then stapled to the invoice when that comes in. Well, if you're doing that, you don't have to listen to me right now. If you're doing that, well done to you. This headache's solved for you already. However, the last 4, number 2, what happens to the delivery docket? Well, the site is muddy. The docket gets stuck to the bottom of a muddy boot and disappears. Number 3, what happens to the delivery docket? The lunch order is written on the back of it, and the boy is sent out to collect the lunch, the sandwiches for the lads. Number 4, what happens to the delivery docket? Well, it's screwed up in the back in the glove box of my truck, or it's thrown into the back of thrown into the back there with all the other orders. Number 5, what happens to the delivery docket? It simply gets lost. So how many construction companies do you think gave me number 1 as an answer? The correct answer: it's filed into a tray. How many people gave me that answer, number 1? Well, it works out that 1 in 10 of construction companies I've spoken to tell me that they file the delivery docket neatly into a tray. That means that the other 90% of construction companies that I've spoken to, they lose the delivery docket in some way. So a purchasing system allows you to mark items as received and attach a snapshot of that delivery docket directly to that purchase order. So this can be done in the field on site with no need to return to the site office. And a cell phone app allows orders to be placed and approved right from that site too. So now, even if somebody's at the bottom of a dirty hole, that's not an excuse to not fill out all the details correctly. Everything can be done correctly and simply without there being any excuses that it hasn't been done. Like, I didn't fill out that page on the purchase order book. I left it blank and made the order anyway. So not only does a mobile purchasing system allow staff and site managers to put in their orders in a simpler way, which saves a lot of time, but it also allows the staff in the office to process those orders, approve them, and get them delivered back to site as quickly as possible. Now, that's how you, by making things simple, making things straightforward, and not giving anybody an excuse to say that they can't do something because this thing is simple, straightforward, then it makes people fill out the details that are necessary to get those orders through. So everything that all of the data you're trying to collect gets collected in a nice, easy way. So finally, the third headache, and I think I've saved the best till last, and that's reporting. So have you ever wondered what you're actually spending on a particular project? Maybe the spending has kind of got away from you and you don't know. Maybe you don't see real project spend until you've totaled up all of your vendor invoices at the end of every month, or someone is totaling that up for you, spending all of that time taking data off of purchase order books, for instance. Project spend, as you probably know, can go up really quickly and without warning. You've only got to keep that backhoe or digger that you've hired for an extra week, or get 5 tons of hardcore too much. It all adds up really, really quickly. So I've already told you that you'll be able to allocate spend to different places. In real terms, when a person on site is creating a purchase request, they assign that spend to a project or a budget. And each project spend can be split up into separate budgets for each project. So for the controller, that might be the financial controller, that might be as simple as calling a budget electricals and putting a probable cost PC sum in there. Or it might be a much more complicated collection of budget lines, a much bigger collection of budget lines. The beauty of all this is that all of your spend is then categorized into the right place straight away. So as soon as somebody creates the request, that spend's categorized already. And then finally, you're able to report on those categories, drilling down into each data point as you need. So reporting on a project by project basis gives you a list of budgets within each project and shows you how much is left, gives you the work in progress or WIP figures for that particular project. So by categorizing things at the point of request, you're then able to produce those work in progress figures really quickly and in real time without having someone to have to total all of that information up at the end of a month, for instance. So now you'll be able to see how much you've spent in the given time straight away. Your forecasting should be much better then, and you'll be able to make sure that that project comes in on budget. So I've shown you those 3 headaches. And of course, I wouldn't be explaining these concepts if procurementexpress.com, my company, was not able to achieve them in the most efficient way possible. That's exactly what our purchasing system does. Allow you to solve those problems all in one go and provides a simple, straightforward interface that everybody in the business can use. So with Procurement Express, you can capture the information you need in the right place at the right time. You can receive your deliveries and make sure that the dockets get to the office on time as well, because they're stored electronically. Excuse me. And you can manage your budgets, projects, work in progress figures in real time without having to wait until the end of the month to see how much you've spent. So if you're interested in a purchasing system, or if you're just interested in the purchasing system, fine, we can talk about that. If you're interested in Procurement Express particularly, what's next? What next steps should you take? Well, you can check out. We've got some product videos. You can see features and benefits pages. You can sign up for a free trial, which is fully functioning. We can do a demo with you, and you can talk about price and those kind of things. Or you can simply just call that number, which is a toll-free number to speak to somebody at any time. So I'm going to invite the floor open to questions. As I promised, here's my my personal email address. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any problems at all that you need to, in terms of procurement, that you need to talk through, or any questions that you don't want to ask in an open forum. Work away and send me those questions. So I'll hand the floor over to Mano, and Mano's going to call those questions out to me if they've come in.
So we have one question here from Jade House, and the question is, how many projects and budgets can I have at one time?
Good question. Okay, so the answer is as many as you want. What happens is that people are allocated particular projects, and those projects have budgets allocated to them. So somebody can have as many projects as they want as you want allocated to them. What happens when they log in is that they see those projects that they're allocated to. They can create a purchase request against those projects, and when they log in, when they go to create a purchase request against those projects, they'll then only see the budgets that are assigned to those projects. So that way you could have a really huge list of budgets that are associated with lots of different projects, and you've cut it down so that it makes it simple and straightforward for people to fill out that information. They don't have to select from a drop down of 1,000 budgets. They can just simply choose only the ones that are associated with those projects. So the short answer is as many as you want.
Thanks, Richard. And then that's all the questions for now. Guys, are there any other questions? Looks like that's all of it.
Okay. So as I said, if there are questions that you'd like to ask outside of an open forum, that's fine. Feel free just to email me and let me know what those questions are, and I will do my best to help you in any way I can.
Cool. And thank you very much, Rich, for your time and for helping us with these problems. Everyone, we have a webinar every single week. So if you guys would like to watch our next webinar, then just check your emails. We'll send you the invite within the next few days.
Thanks, Mano. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.